I will hand you over to Gus.
Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate it. Yeah, you don't talk me up too much. It's kind of let's see how this goes. But welcome everybody. Great to see so many wonderful faces here, as well as Paul Horn, obviously. So just kidding. So welcome everybody. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about LinkedIn, as Chris mentioned. So one of the things with LinkedIn is that okay, so in half an hour, 45 minutes, I'm not going to tell you everything about LinkedIn. Obviously, I run workshops which are like half day, full day, whole week, etc. on the platform of LinkedIn. I've been using LinkedIn for years and years and years, and I like to think that I know a little bit about it. The main thing is I'm going to teach you kind of the basics, how to get going. It's all about yourself and to get started today. And then what we're going to do is more than happy to kind of answer any questions or kind of help wherever I can. But I'm around. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to just go through a quick presentation. That's okay if I just share that now. Right. Can everybody see that? Just nod your heads if you can see that. Yeah, great. Excellent. So get started on LinkedIn right after this presentation. Obviously, don't leave right now. So first things first. Now, despite my incredible Peter Pan looks, I'm old enough to remember the original TED Talk. So I've been around for a while. This is my 24th year of marketing experience. I know what you're thinking. I started when I was -3. I use that joke every time. Sorry if you've heard that for the 21st time, to be honest. But I have a lot of marketing experience. I've worked for some of the world's largest organizations, got numerous marketing qualifications, a member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing. But the most important thing is that I've implemented stuff. So rather than just learning about it, learning the basics or working for other people, I've got my own marketing business, which is very much based upon work that I've delivered myself. One of the things I want you all to do, just by seeing this slide, technically this is now this is a legal obligation for all of you. Technically, you've just all pinky sweared into actually implementing some of the stuff that you've learned today. Okay, so the important thing is that by seeing this slide, you are now going to go away after this presentation, obviously, and implement some of the stuff that you've learned today. Okay. Now, as with anything, I'm going to teach you a small fraction of LinkedIn in the time that we've got. I can kind of help with anything else, post-event, I can help with management and training and etc. Anything on LinkedIn or anything about kind of digital marketing. But the important thing is it starts with you, okay? Like I said, you've already pinky sweared. That means you're going to implement stuff. It starts with you, okay? And so the 10% is you, but also the 90% is you, okay? You're the one that has to deliver things. Because one of the things about social media is all about being social, okay? It's all about engaging with people. It's all about talking to others. It's all about creating those conversations. The most important thing is that everybody has to start somewhere. So I know that some people here that are here, like Paul and obviously Chris and Lorraine and a few others are brilliant at LinkedIn. I know there are some others who may not be very good at LinkedIn. The most important thing is that everybody has to start somewhere. And we all know the acronym just flipping do it. So for the purposes of YouTube, that F stands for flipping, obviously. Now, very quick background. LinkedIn started in 2003. I joined it in around 2005. By 2006, it reached 10 million users. So in the space of 3 years, it reached 10 million users. Now, originally, it used to be all about CVs and recruitment and people, trying to find jobs, etc., etc. But in 2016, that's when it really changed because Microsoft bought it for $26 billion. The 609, as of today, there are approximately 690 million users on LinkedIn. So, if you do the math, they spend roughly about $40 per person. Now, LinkedIn, ever since Microsoft bought it, has changed from a CV and kind of recruiters kind of place to one of the key, the key business, social media channel, basically. Business professionals, business networking, etc. And it's all about having conversations now. It's all about being engaged, having conversations, making the right connections, growing your business, etc. Now, this is my profile. Sounds incredibly self-indulgent, but we're going to go through my profile so it's almost as if do as I do, as opposed to do as I say. Okay, so first things first. we're going to go through your profile pic. Now, lots of people have terrible profile pics. If you have a terrible profile pic, don't worry, you're not the only one. Lots of people do. We all know people who have those photos which they've taken on holiday and they're surrounded by their mates, but they've cropped them all out. So they're kind of, their face is up against something and they're holding a cocktail. Don't have those photos. Get rid of those photos. We have a professional photo. For those of you based in Coventry, Warwickshire, you may know Charlie Budd. He took this particular profile picture for me. He's a fantastic photographer. Lots of other photographers obviously available. Get yourself a professional photo. The banner is prime real estate. I know there's parts of this where I'm almost kind of teaching you how to suck eggs, but this is, not everybody does everything. And sometimes you just have to start, go back to the basics. Now, there's a tool called Canva. Most people have heard of Canva, C-A-N-V-A. It's a very basic graphic design tool, but within there, you can create a LinkedIn banner. Your banner is prime real estate. It's what people see when they land on your profile. It's what people see when they, when they find you in search results, etc. Make sure the banner tells people what you do. It's so mine has my logo, the M Guru, social media and digital marketing. I do management, workshops and training, and it has my website address. Nice and simple, okay? For anybody wondering, the orange laptop pic is the same pic that's on the homepage of my website. So it's all connected. It's all kind of, continual branding across channels. Make sure you create a banner. At the very least, put your website address in it. If you don't have a website address, put some sort of link in there, whether it be your email address or your phone number, etc. Because it's prime real estate. There's no point leaving it blank, no point leaving on the plain blue banner that kind of LinkedIn give you. We're going to be talking about headlines in a moment, but if you just we have your profile pic, your banner, your name, your headline, where you're based, so I'm based in Coventry, my current job and my last place of education. But these two elements here are the most important. So open to work and open for business. Now, open to work. Now, obviously, I run my own business, but I am open to work. If somebody wants to hire me as a part-time or a full-time or a freelance marketing manager, marketing specialist, social media manager, etc., I've set my open to work as obviously open. Only recruiters can see that, but it's also, for example, HR managers and other firms that will be able to see that you're open for business. So if you run your own business, you can just set that to on, basically. The open to work, the open for business section, anybody can see that. And that's really important. Now, it pre-populates. I think I'm right in saying that about 90% of LinkedIn users have that. So if you don't have that, you will get that soon. It is being rolled out to 100% of users. Now, open for business is really important because it self-populates. So if you switch it on, it will self-populate to whatever keywords it finds on your profile. So for example, if you've spent 20 years, working in the construction industry and you just 6 months ago opened a business making masks for PPE and stuff, it's going to pick up all the construction stuff. So it's, so you have to update this yourself, kind of thing, from a pre-populated list. So if you are open for business, switch it on, make sure that you change it, make sure that you're the one that populates it. So when people land on your profile, this is what they see. They'll see your profile pic, they'll see your banner, they'll see your headline, and they'll see that you're open to work and open for business. Okay, so if they're available to you, switch them on. Now, your headline. So my headline, just so you know, I did a whole post yesterday about kind of LinkedIn being like a dating website. So I changed my headline. So it's social media and marketing guru, very well experienced, plus great sense of humor, seeks small business owners for long-term relationship as your digital marketing wingman with no strings attached and down-to-earth attitude. Now, I had to Google most of those acronyms, or at least that's what I told the wife, obviously. Now, I've obviously made mine very much about kind of it's a joke and really, related to the fact that it is dating for business professionals. That's essentially what we do. We are trying to find our perfect match, whether it be our clients or our suppliers or people that we want to work with. And that's where your headline comes in. Your headline is super, super important. If you change anything, if your first piece of homework today is, if you change anything, change your headline so that it tells people exactly what you do. Now, there are various kind of methods. So there's helping X with Y by Z. So for those of you who know Helen Pritchard, she's a very popular LinkedIn specialist. She runs a ridiculously expensive course. It's a mastermind course. But she does like a free 5-day challenge. And in that 5-day challenge, she is kind of, I wouldn't say she's trademarked it, but she's very, she's known as the lady that starts with the helping headline. So it's, for example, helping X small business owners with Y, with social media management, by Z, by, you know, saving you time, or with experience delivery or whatever, etc. So that's one option. The other option is main body subtext icebreaker by John Espirian. For those of you who know John Espirian, he is, although he's a technical copywriter, he's also you know, one of the greatest guys on LinkedIn. He's brilliant on LinkedIn. He always suggests have a main body. So to start with, make sure you tell people what you do. Then you have a subtext, which is kind of expanding on that. Then you have some sort of icebreaker. His icebreaker is, I'm not a douche canoe. It's a long story. You'd have to go to his profile and have a look, etc. I used to have an icebreaker, and mine used to say, I once got Lembe Opik drunk, which is true. I used to run a pub. Lembe Opik came in. It was a 2-day party conference in Coventry. After the first night, he came in, he got stupidly drunk in my pub, and then he missed day 2 of the conference. And he blamed me on social media. It had nothing to do with me. It wasn't my fault. Now, anyway, so, but the main body subtext icebreaker, you know, it can be anything. It could be social media marketer, then, you know, I help small business owners, etc., then some sort of icebreaker. I always suggest cut the boring BS, bull stuff, right? So again, for the purposes of YouTube, insert your own keywords. Now, for example, nobody cares that you're the founder or the CEO. You know, I run my own business. Nobody cares. Don't write none of that stuff. Okay. People want to know how you help them. As with any social media, it's all about the reader, the audience, the person listening. So cut out the stuff where it says I'm a CEO or I'm a founder, and nobody cares. Okay. They want to know how you help them. Think of it like an elevator pitch on a first date. I mean, if you go on a first date and you do an elevator pitch, you're probably on the wrong date. But just imagine, you know, it's all, again, that analogy of dating, finding the perfect match, finding somebody to work with, finding somebody that you want to work with. So get that, you know, it's in a few words, tell people what you do. Now, first 5 words, 220 characters. If we just go back a slide, if I can. Now, the first 5 words, so my first 5 words are social media and marketing guru. When people land on your profile, or when you comment on other people's profiles or other people's posts, etc., the first 5 words are what people will always see. So make sure you deliver whatever you need to deliver in those first 5 words. So if those first 5 words say something like, I am the CEO and the founder of, you've already lost people, because nobody cares. It doesn't tell anybody what you do, right? So start with exactly what you do, whether it be technical copywriter, marketing membership manager for the Chamber of Commerce, or, you know, whatever it may be. Make sure the first 5 words tell people what you do. Now, up until recently, you could only have an extended character count if you had an Apple product, which is very strange on a Microsoft-owned platform. But now it's open to everybody. You can have 220 characters. The danger is that you waffle. My headline before this was stupidly long, basically. The main thing is get out exactly what you need to tell people. So the first 5 words are very important. Then the second sentence should be who you help, how you help them, you know, etc. So think about your ideal clients. Okay. Again, you know, cut out the stuff that nobody is interested in. But you get 220 characters. I think this changed probably about a month ago. Used to be 120 characters. So if you haven't changed your headline in a while, here's your first piece of homework. Kind of update that. And obviously, if you'd like to, you can add emojis and all that. I think I have a star and an orange heart. You know, orange kind of goes throughout the theme of what I do and stuff. So, and obviously, I've got a man with a turban. Depending on how big your screen is, that's not a tooth, by the way. That is a man wearing a turban. But yeah, by all means, you can add emojis if you want to. Kind of, you know, it always helps engagement and stuff. Now, the next section down is your about section and then your featured section. So in terms of my notes, this is so where you permanently feature your best work. But before we go on to that, let's talk about your about section. In the about section, you can write War and Peace in there. It's kind of, well, almost. It's 3,000 words to write whatever you want. Tell people what you do for a living. But As you can see, when people land on your profile, it's the first 3 lines that people see. So again, if those first 3 lines are, based upon very generic stuff, or people that aren't listening or don't care about, etc., they're going to switch off. Once they've seen your headline and they've seen your banner and they think, oh, I like this person, I'm going to read their profile. Once they click on the profile, the next section they see is about. Don't lose them in the about section. So make sure you kind of just blurt out everything you need to blurt out within those first 3 lines. Okay. Think of it as a slightly longer headline. Okay. So mine obviously says, managing social media is a job in itself, but your time is better spent on what you're good at, i.e. your business. So I help you with all aspects of social media, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm telling you is that if you're a business owner, your time is important, concentrate on your own business, I'll manage your marketing for you. Nice and simple. Now, if that's something you need, you will click on see more and you'll read the rest, right? Now, the next section is your featured section. As you can see here, I've pinned a post. I did a post a little while ago. Marketing is like sex. Everybody thinks they're good at it, which is true, particularly during COVID, particularly during coronavirus. Everybody thinks they're a Facebook and LinkedIn expert, etc. And some people are, most people aren't. But that's not for me to say. Now, that's a post that I did, and then I pinned it to the top because obviously I want people to read that post because it talks about me. It basically says, I'm a marketer, this is what I do, etc. Some people are good, other people are great. I like to think I'm great. Give me a call. That kind of stuff. The other featured stuff is I have a link to my website, which talks all about social media support. I've also got a newsletter, so people can sign up to my newsletter, and I have a free Facebook group. So my 4 featured items are basically a page from my website. You can sign up to my newsletter and my Facebook group. Now they're that's where people will find me, other than obviously LinkedIn itself. Make sure that if you have a featured section that everybody has a featured section. If you're going to switch on your featured section, make sure it's populated. Make sure it's populated with something. This pinning a post feature is comparatively new. So your second piece of homework for today, after changing your headline, obviously, is to write a post about who you are and what you do. So, and that post could be, my name is such and such. This is what I do for a living. I'd like to introduce myself to all my new followers. Thanks for, clicking on my profile. Thanks for being here, all that kind of stuff, etc. You write that post, lots of people will see it. In a couple of days, pin it to the top, pin it to the featured. And so when people land on your profile, once they've read the about and your headline and all the rest of it, they also see a pinned post of exactly what you do. Now, if we just go back to here, this bit here, if you can see that add profile section. So on your homepage, you would add profile section. Now, obviously this is a PowerPoint presentation, so I can't click on the arrow. It doesn't show anything. It's a static image. But on your LinkedIn, when you click on that arrow, you will have then a menu pop up, and you can add and take away sections as you see fit. So for example, if you add a testimonials section, then it's open for people to give you testimonials. If people can't give you testimonials, then you're not going to, obviously, if that section is not open, nobody can obviously say anything nice about you, right? And the same applies to the featured section. You can switch it off if you don't have anything featured, but I would suggest switch it on, feature something. Send people to exactly where you want them to go. So I want people to sign up to my newsletter. I want people to join my free Facebook group. Okay, so I've put them in my featured section on LinkedIn. Don't obviously put any links to somewhere else on LinkedIn. That would be ridiculous because they're already there, right? Now, how to stay connected to your potential clients. Now, obviously, it's super important. We all use LinkedIn for business purposes, for professional purposes. 690 million users across the world on LinkedIn, and only 2% of them are active. So just by being active and posting stuff, you already fall into the 2%, right? Which means you're better than 98% of people who have a LinkedIn profile, okay? So the most important thing is make sure you consistently post, make sure you're regular, make sure you post stuff. Now, first things first, think about your ideal client, because whatever you do, whether it's your headline or your about section or whatever you post, you always have to think about your ideal client, because that's the person that you're focusing your messages to, okay? When you're connecting to people, think about your ideal client and connect to them. The search box is your friend here. You can search for anything. If you are looking for pharmacists based in Stratford-upon-Avon, quite literally search for pharmacist Stratford-upon-Avon. Nice and simple, okay? If you're looking for business owners based in Warwick, search for business owners based in Warwick. Nice and simple. And connect to them, okay? Now, it's up to you if you add a connection. No, I don't usually, because they can see what I do. They're either interested in me or not, etc. But if there's a reason you're connecting with somebody, then just add that as a note. Like, I saw your profile because of this, this, and this, or I'm interested in what you say about this, so I'd like to connect to you, etc. Try not to make it too inane, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Now, when you're posting, to stay connected to your potential clients, post regularly, be consistent, and always offer value. Offer value is the most important thing. For those of you who are connected with me on LinkedIn, you will see that sometimes I offer value, but most times I just tell ridiculous jokes. But it gets engagement, and it gets people to stop and have a look, and they think, oh, this guy's very good at writing, or this guy's very good at social media, or etc. And then I get leads, and people phone me and say, can you harm me as well? I've literally had 2 potential clients in the last week that both said, you post a lot of crap on LinkedIn, I'd like you to do the same for me. Which was, on one hand, it was very polite. On the other hand, I was a little bit offended. But the main thing is I'm getting leads. That's the most important thing. So post regularly, post good content consistently, and offer value. Now, I've put here in brackets dwell time. This is something, if you haven't heard of this is something that probably came about a month ago. The LinkedIn algorithms now base things upon how long people spend on your profile and how long they spend reading your stuff. So the simple fact of the matter is that the higher your dwell time, the better it is for views and sociability and engagement, etc. So if you're posting crap all the time, or if you're posting sales messages all the time, like, please buy from me, this is what I buy, most people switch off to that. And if they switch off, they scroll past. We all know Darwin's theory of evolution, opposable thumbs, etc. People keep using their thumbs and they'll just scroll past. So there's no dwell time, which means that your LinkedIn profile will drop down the algorithm, and eventually it will just go into the ether, and nobody will ever see your stuff. So make sure it's good stuff, make sure you offer value, make sure people are interested in what you have to say, because the more time they spend on your profile, and the more time they spend reading your stuff, the more often they will see your stuff, and the more often that LinkedIn will think, oh, this person has lots of stuff to talk about, so it will show your stuff to a wider audience. Now, during this whole coronavirus thing, I'm sure I've used this slide before, we are all in the same pit stop, okay? Now, for most people, life has kind of slowed down or stopped. So you've kind of parked up your car, and you're getting new tires, and you're refueling, and you're wiping your visor and all that kind of stuff. You have to keep marketing, okay? So don't think, oh, don't worry, I'll write something on LinkedIn next week, or I'll update my LinkedIn next month, or etc. Because you have to keep marketing now, because as soon as the green light goes, as the world is already opening up, albeit we all have to wear masks, but it's opening up. We get to go out, we get to see people, we get to go networking again, we get to go shopping, and all the rest of it, etc. The world is opening up. So if your business is not ready, you're going to be left behind, okay? So the main thing is make use of LinkedIn today. As you've probably seen with other platforms like Facebook and Instagram, etc., the more money you spend, the more people will see your stuff, basically. That's not the same on LinkedIn. LinkedIn predominantly is still free, okay? So start marketing now. Don't wait until they start charging you a lot of money, or you have to do LinkedIn ads, or you have to do, pay for premium and all that kind of stuff, because right now it's open to everybody. Now, the do's and don'ts of DMs, direct messaging. So obviously, first things first, do connect with people, okay? LinkedIn is the only place where you get to curate your own audience, okay? Everywhere else, every other social media channel, people have to follow you, okay? They have to find you through means of search, or through means of, you kind of promoting your social media channels. Whereas on LinkedIn, you get to reach out to your ideal audience. So you think about your ideal client, you search for them, you connect with them. Perfect. Once you've curated that audience, once you're regularly posting stuff to that audience, hopefully eventually they think, oh, this person's interesting, I want to buy from this person, etc. And that's kind of how you get leads. Now, I appreciate it's a very long, and the whole premise of content marketing, or a decent content marketing strategy, is that it's a long and laborious process. But done right, hopefully LinkedIn will create a steady stream of leads for you. So do connect with people, think about your ideal client, connect with the right people, okay? Do tell them why you want to connect if it's not obvious. for example, you could always send a connection note to say, oh, I saw your comment on this and I'm really interested, or I'd love to read more of your stuff. Don't use anything generic. Don't say things like, oh, I see we have a lot of mutual connections. It's ridiculous. You wouldn't do that in real life, right? You wouldn't go to the pub and sit down next to somebody and say, my cousin Ralph, so I think I'm going to spend the whole night with you. You don't do that. Okay, so don't do that on LinkedIn. Mutual connections don't mean anything. So whatever you do, make it personable. Okay, do respond to all replies. One of the things we all hate is obviously automated messages or messages. Dear first name. Get rid of all that. Respond to all replies and make them personable. Don't be offended if people don't reply. We all do it. We connect with people. I've had people where, I've sent them a connection note saying, oh, I'd love to be connected with you, etc. And they what they do is they go to my profile, they have a look at my profile and then don't click accept. The cheek of it, the sheer, don't they know who I am? It's, but don't be offended if people don't reply or they don't connect with you, etc. And that's fine. It just means they're not your ideal client, right? But don't worry, somebody else will be, okay? In DMs, do offer value, so try to stay away from, please sign up to my newsletter or please kind of buy this from me, etc. But offer value, like, just kind of make friends with people. There's business relationships, right? So nice to be connected. I'd like to stay in touch with you, etc., etc. This point here, do make them engage first. Now, this is doesn't work for everybody. This is how it works for me. I connect with people and I regularly post. As I regularly post, I get them to engage with me first. So either they like my post or they comment on my post or they send me a DM first. I never reach out to people and say, hey, please read my stuff or please buy from me, etc. I wait till they engage with me. Once they've engaged with me, you can then obviously start a conversation like, hey, thanks for liking my post, etc. What did you like about it? Actually, don't say that. But, you can engage with people. That's the main thing. But get them to engage with you first. Do not do anything that you wouldn't like done to yourself. That probably needs better wording. But you know what I mean. Don't send crappy messages that you would delete yourself. Okay? So treat others how you want to be treated, etc., etc. Remember, the most important thing about LinkedIn is that it's a social network. Okay? It's all about engaging, all about making business relationships, all about being friends with people. If somebody offends you, try not to offend others. That's the key. Now, content creation. Now, for my last chamber live I did for the chamber, it was all about content creation. If you missed it, sorry about that. But basically, this is one slide. Now, content creation, I do a whole kind of workshop, like a whole kind of 6-hour workshop on content creation. And it's all about finding the right content, creating the right content, posting it at the right times, etc., etc. But today, step one. So, I say step one, this is your third piece of homework today. Write a post about this workshop. Now, you don't have to, but it's a post, right? Write a post about this workshop. Tell people that you attended. Tell people why you like the chamber. One thing that you learned from today and one thing that you might implement, right? Feel free to tag me in if you like. Obviously, tell people how great I am. Exclamation mark in brackets, obviously. But the main thing is that it's a piece of content for today. I attended this great workshop. It was put on by the chamber. Chris is great. The chamber is great. Gus is all right. Excellent piece of content. Okay. Now, you don't have to just put it on LinkedIn. You can put that on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever wherever you want to do it. You could do a little dance about it on TikTok if you really want to. But the main thing is it's a piece of content that you can put out today. Okay. Now, this is the most important thing. Be social. I know I've said this. Trevor McDonald. Social media is not about broadcasting. Okay. For those of you, I've spelled Trevor wrong. It's an OR, by the way. I know. It's I was just testing you. Now, for those of you who don't know Trevor McDonald, ask your parents, kids. Now, you're not a newsreader, okay? It's not about broadcasting. It's about being social. It's about engaging with others. And this is how we grow relationships. A lot of the people that are here on this workshop today, I know through social media, through creating online business relationships, whether it be Davina or Paul or Lorraine or whoever it may be. Now, it's the most important thing is to engage with others. Now, on LinkedIn, when you create content, it's all very well creating your own posts and posting, etc. People will like it, people will comment on it, make sure you reply. The flip side of LinkedIn is that you should go to other people's profiles and engage with their profiles. Okay, it's not a one-sided channel. So whether it scroll through your feed, anything that you like, just like it. Anywhere you want to comment and engage with others, feel free to do so. And try not to be overly inane. Don't just kind of say I agree. Always add your 2 pence worth, so it makes you look interesting, makes you look like essentially you know what you're talking about and that you've actually read the content. Okay, so the most important thing is to be social. Okay. Oh, now, so very quickly, profile pic, banner, your headline, open to work, open to business, add profile sections. Make sure you update your headline today if you can. Make sure you add a featured section if you can. Make sure you keep marketing. Do connect with people. The only place you can curate your own audience. Write a post about today's workshop if you want to, and be social. Okay, remember that. Now, etc. etc. You can find me anywhere at mguru UK. If you Google at mguru UK, you will find everything about me. My phone number, my website, my home address, my inside leg measurement, everything. It's all online because I'm very open like that. And that's if that's okay with Chris, that's me.
Fantastic. Thanks, Gus.